So the C8 ZR-1 is being marked up anywhere from 50,000 to $150,000 over MSRP. Wow, that's crazy. It's not like anybody said that was gonna happen. Hey yo, it's your boy AOK. We back with another short video just on the C8 ZR-1 markups that have been announced because as many of you probably already know, the MSRP has been released, and for the lowest trim, which also may be the fastest trim, the 1LZ version of the ZR-1 starts at $173,000, or basically 174,000. I think it's 173 and change. But yes, the 1LZ coupe starts at $174,000, and that is the one that you would need to go 233 odd mile per hour, which is ridiculous. And the biggest issue is that the markups are coming in at anywhere from 50 to 75 to 150 to as high as $200,000 over MSRP. And again, the car starts at 174. Now, if you want the big bad car, which is the 3LZ Coupe, that is $184,000. So the 3LZ Coupe, $184,000. That's the big wing with all the crazy carbon and everything like that. That one would start at 184, $185,000, and that one is what you would need if you're going to go set lap records and things of the sort. Now they also have the hardtop convertible versions because every model is a convertible. If you get the coupes, they're target tops. If you get the convertibles, they are retractable hardtop convertibles. And I believe the 3LZ is the 3LZ convertible is the highest trim and most expensive, starting at $194,000. So it's not necessarily a bad price at all because again, this is still what $30,000 less than a $30 to $40,000 less than a 992 Turbo S Porsche, which comes in at like $230,000, something ridiculous. And that car gives you all-wheel drives, 650 horsepower, around the same amount of torque, 0 to 60, 2.7 top speed, 205, crazy car. This Corvette is giving you 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque with no electric assist. There's no EV in this. It's doing it on 93 octane. That's the key factor right there. It's putting down those numbers on 93 octane, the same type of horsepower you get from a Revuelto, which is a hybrid V12, and a V12 that's hybrid. The same type of horsepower you're getting from a Demon 170 Challenger on full E85, the same numbers you're getting from a Bugatti Veyron from 2006. You're getting that from this Corvette on 93 octane. And just to put it in a little bit more perspective, that Bugatti Veyron had a W6 an 8-liter W16 quad turbocharged engine, while this Corvette simple quote unquote dual overhead cam 5.5 liter V8 with two gnarly turbos on it, two big snails. And again, it make that same power as all those cars I just listed on 93 octane. So my main thing is that all this performance that GM is offering you, that's actually being proved and shown to be usable. Again, the 233 mile an hour top speed. Now I believe that's just due to gearing. I believe that if the gearing was different, it could be way faster because the gearing is the same type of gearing you would get in a Z06 or E-Rate or anything like that. But the only thing that changed about the transmission, from my understanding, the Tremec DCT 8-speed is a lot stronger. It has beefier components within the transmission. Nothing changed. Like no ratios, anything like that changed. It's literally just stronger components within the transmission itself. So that could be the reason why the top speed isn't necessarily as high as it could potentially be. And of course, not only just changing the ratios within the transmission, but obviously revision of the final drive in the vehicle. So changing the final drive would allow you to have that, or give you the real estate to have that tall sixth and seventh and eighth gear to reach those higher speeds. But anyway, 233 miles an hour is crazy. But not only that, the car has been shown that it's been proven that the car can turn now. They've taken it to 4 different, very well-renowned tracks throughout the the United States of America, and the car has set lap records by the engineers, not professional drivers or professional race car driver, active race car drivers. Like, they're engineers that are very skillful behind the wheel at the same time, not taking anything away from them. And they set lap records at these tracks, 4 different tracks, and one of them in 2 different configurations. And my thing is, it just goes back to that video that I mentioned, that video that I put out a few months back where I mentioned the car is now doing so much that it just gives dealers more and more reason as to why they feel it's okay to mark it up. Because again, it can set a lap record at VIR. It can run 233 miles an hour. It Every form of it is a convertible. It can make 1,064 horsepower on 93 pump gas with no electronic assist. The dealer only has to say, name me another car that can do all of those things for under $1 million. You could not name me one. I couldn't name another car that's doing that. From factory, name any other factory car that does 234 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 2.3, runs a 9.6 quarter mile on the street, can set lap records at all those different tracks throughout the United States, could potentially run a 650, a sub 650, maybe even potentially a 640 or 645 at the Nürburgring. Name another car that does that while being a convertible or at least a hard top, target top, for under $1 million. You couldn't name one. I don't know any. There's no car that comes from factory that does all of those things. So again, that would be the sensible dealer's basis as to why they can mark up the car. But the main reason is they know people are going to buy it. The same way Porsche and Ferrari can do their version of a markup, where it's you have to buy this car to get an allocation. You know, GM's version of that would be, well, if you want this C8 ZR-1, you have to buy that Z06 over there that hasn't sold to anyone because people found out the Z06 is trash. And it's like, I don't want a Z06. Well, then I guess you don't want the allocation for a ZR-1. Case in point, the Z06 is going, right now, they flop so hard, they're going used for like what, 120? People were paying 220 to 250 for that car. Now they're going for 120. Any dealership could be like, hey, we're going to charge you a $120,000 markup, or you could take this the Z06 along with your ZR1. It's the same thing Porsche does, same thing Ferrari does. It's an ugly practice, but there's only one way around it. Don't buy the car. Are you willing to stand by, let some time go by, let those cars sit, and then circle back and see if you can get it at MSRP? Or do you have so much money where it's like, it doesn't really matter to you, you don't really care about the next person anyway. If they got to deal with a markup and they can't afford it, that's on them. You can't afford it, so it is what it is. How do you go about it? But then also, is this for the Corvette enthusiast? Or is it for the supercar slash potential hypercar enthusiast? Because no Corvette guy that, from my understanding, it was spending $300,000 on their car. C7 ZR1s, 150, like 100 and change, 150. That's like the most expensive Corvette you could probably get, besides this one. Or a brand new Z06. When it first came out, the C8 Z06, when it first came out. So the regular Corvette enthusiast was not looking to spend $300,000 on it, let alone $200,000. Now you're talking about $300,000 to get into the car. Yeah, it's not looking good. So again, I just want people to let me know like what you guys think about this. Do you agree with the markups? Do you agree with dealers' potential justifications for the markups? And do you feel like if you were a dealer, you would also do the same thing? You know, that's up to you guys. If you stayed this long, I appreciate it. And definitely just let me know in the comments, man. You guys safe up, stay sturdy.